My name is Emily, and this is the second part of my story. Last week, I told you about my story. I was living with my dad and my mom in a small town down the street. We were a happy small family. My dad was a carpenter, but my mom didn't have a job. This was because she was a high school dropout. My dad was involved in a car accident, and he passed away. We couldn't afford to pay the rent, and we were kicked out of the house. We had nowhere to go except to my grandmother's place. My mom and my grandmother were not on good terms. After 6 months of staying with them, my grandparents gave my mom an ultimatum. Either she had to marry Josh, or we were to be kicked out of the house. My mom married Josh for my sake, so that I could have a place to stay. Josh was doing pretty well before he was fired from his place of work. This was because he stole some money. Ever since, he became a gambler and an alcoholic. He owed a lot of people, and the gamblers had started coming to our home and threatening us. I knew that we had to figure out something before it was too late. My dad wasn't even at home. I was stressed and I told my best friend, Marcus. He told me that he would help me. I went to his home for the first time since we became friends 4 years ago. He took me to his backyard, and what I saw shocked me. I saw a money tree. It was a tree whose leaves were money. I know you don't believe it, because I didn't believe it at first. I thought I was dreaming, and I had to pick one leaf to confirm it. It was a $10 leaf. I asked him how that was possible, and he told me that his brother studied engineering. He wanted to invent something new, unlike other engineers before. That was why he studied agricultural engineering. He did a lot of research about the tree till he was able to make a seed. He had tried 7 times before he was successful. He explained to me that the seed is planted at exactly 9 p.m. The hole should be a foot underground. It was supposed to be irrigated every day. Failing to do so will make the tree wither and die. After 10 days, there will be $1 billion. After 20 days, it will be $10 billion. After 30 days, it will be $100 billion. He gave me a seed and told me to follow his instructions. His brother didn't know about it. I was grateful to him and bid him goodbye. I went back and found my stepdad in the sitting room. He was waiting for me. He had disappeared for 4 days when we were being threatened because of his actions, and yet he didn't feel sorry. He told me that I would no longer go to school because I had to work to help him pay the debt. I tried defending myself, but he won't listen. My mom tried pleading, but he didn't listen to her either. I didn't want to miss school because my future depended on it. I told my stepdad that I would figure something out, and I just needed some time. He didn't believe me, and I told him to ask the lenders to give us 30 days, and we would be able to pay them together with the interest. I was helping him not because I cared about him, but because I wanted my mom to be safe. He warned me that if I wasn't able to raise the money, I would never see my mom again. I knew that Josh was capable of doing anything, and it scared me when he threatened me by using my mom. I went to my room, took the seed, and sneaked to our backyard. I dug the hole, making sure that it was 1 foot. I planted the seed and irrigated it. I had to pray that it would succeed because my mom's life depended on it. I used to sneak out every 9 p.m. to irrigate it. 10 days later, I was looking forward to going to our backyard. I waited till everyone was asleep, and I went to the backyard. And I was happy to see the $1 billion. I knew that I would be able to pay my stepdad's debt. I went back to my room. It was the happiest day of my life. I continued irrigating it, and there was $10 billion after 10 days. I leaped with joy, and as I turned to head back home, my stepdad was there. I was shocked, and I didn't know what to do. He asked me what I was doing in the backyard. I lied to him that I needed fresh air. He told me that he had seen me several times sneaking into the backyard. I tried distracting him so that he couldn't see the tree, but he saw it. I had to explain to him everything. He asked me where I got the seed from, but I didn't tell him. I told him that we had to wait for 10 more days so that we could harvest it and be able to pay off all the debts. He agreed, and we went back to the house. The following day, I had a tight schedule, and I decided to visit our backyard before heading out. There was no dollar bill. I knew that my stepdad had harvested them. I ran to the house, and I found my stepdad counting the money. I asked him why he did so, and he told me that he could do anything with his tree. I confronted him because it wasn't his tree, but he said that it was his because it was in his backyard. He then left the house with all the money. I tried calling Marcus to inform him what my stepdad had done, but he was unreachable. I had to go to his house. He was surprised to see me there. I explained to him everything. We didn't know that his brother overheard our conversation. He was angry, and we had to explain to him the circumstances that led Marcus to give me the seed. My mom called me and told me that Josh came home and uprooted the tree and took it. My mom wasn't at home when he did so, as she had gone to get groceries. We went to my place and found my mom crying. I asked Marcus's brother what we should do, because I knew my stepdad wouldn't keep his mouth shut. He would expose us, and soon enough, everyone would know about it. He told me that there was nothing we could do, because once it was uprooted, it was no longer a money tree. His brother told us we could move into their house. He offered to help my mom start a business, and he would invest in it. My mom was happy. I have never heard of my stepdad ever since the day he left with the tree.